Hey there, it's me, R.W Colbert, and I'm reading you one of my favorite poems, and it's called Sunday Morning. I wrote this, I think, about 7 years ago, and I actually was going to perform this at Art Speaks, which was founded by E. Stanley Richardson, but we had a family emergency and I never got to perform my poem. And so I am doing it for the world now. This poem is called Sunday Morning by R.W Colbert. Me. I was born a girl on a Sunday morning, fresh like dew straight from heaven. The first snow of winter blanketed the cold, hard steel of my sleepy northern town. Warm brown bodies pressed fertile and sacred in whiskey-laced beds planted like strong oak trees, swaying under the weight of oppression like the sap of a willow tree, slightly bending, but never broken. I was born from the old school, sweet like lemonade and vine-ripe tomatoes, greedy lips smacking hungrily, tugging gently on life's tender morsel. I remember long walks on hot black concrete and burning sand to Great Lake, Michigan, the heart of a pungently bitter and nappy-headed city, undulating and cool against the smoky and dingy streets, an oasis amidst the desert of stark concrete and sand. Gary, Indiana. We lay a contradiction in the land and the people. We were supposed to be failures. Little did they know we had Michael Jackson. No way could we fail now. Resting gently on the crook of Big Brother's arm, Gary was that pestering, troublesome, in and out of jail brother, that can I get $5 brother, the one with all the talent but had all the bad breaks. Gary, Indiana was the sweaty armpit of funk, the hot crotch of love, an inch away from being Chicago. Little Red Riding Hood trying to be a gangsta, Hoover, sung by school children without any realization of the meaning, the inauguration of the subtle descent of our city to the sleeping death. Gangsta, gangsta, my people. My people. I was born with a vision. The Chicago skyline against the gray sky and murky waters, much like the steel that coated the lining of my daddy's pocket and eventually his lungs. I was anybody's child, everybody's child, and frequented all the mothers' houses for a PB&J, popsicle, or a spanking, depending on my disposition and theirs. I slept to the symphony of cicadas, the zoom of drag car racing, the buzz of the cooling fan, and the faint whistle of steaming locomotives. A strange combination of lazy southern affection and cold-hearted northern direction. Thus, I was conceived. Mabel, Mabel, are you able? Drifts softly in the swoon of my mind as we, girls, dance double dutch between two white jump ropes in the middle of Jefferson Street, Glen Park. I am a poet, a dancer, a singer, and an actress. I am a business leader, activist, mother, and prophet. Our life spun rigorously, full and supple, like strong black muscled horses. Our dreams were tangible and possible. Achieve, believe, succeed. We were the bastard child of America, but still within the folds of a dying black middle class. We marched defiantly onward, giving a middle finger to Reaganomics. I became a young woman raised full of the true knowledge of my people, our ancestors, our leaders, and the struggle for equality. I learned firsthand the integrity of going hungry rather than living on food stamps and government cheese. A fate worse than death for an honest black man or black woman up north. But in the case of my mama, she was white. Gary, always a contradiction. I interviewed the mayor of our city as the walls literally came down between segregation and self-annihilation. My generation was a cusp of the rebirth of the civil rights movement, as my class, 1990, stood defiantly against being called a nigger for the last time by Mr. Alexander, our teacher. Yes, I was the reporter. I recorded our movements in history, and the awards and accolades of my achievements were loud and proud. We knew the Black National Anthem by heart. And many of us are now Black nationalists, truth seekers, pastors, writers, educators, and Hollywood stars. Me, I was an actress, a writer, a singer. I was the star of my drama class, the genius as my teacher called me. Academic Super Bowl winner, co-creator of over one half of the yearbook in photography and writing, advice column on my school newspaper, later even a Miss Great Depression called the Oprah of Ball State University. I had a bright and glorious future. But I, she, me, was raped. At 16, I was raped. With sweet creamy thighs and sparkling dewdrop eyes, my womanhood bludgeoned and stolen. My virginity. I was raped. Who am I now? What do I do? Am I cool? Am I a woman? Should I pretend? I dyed my hair orange. Hey, Cheese Whiz, they laughed. They didn't know. Suddenly, dizzily, I found myself pushed outside the door, and it's locked from the inside. Panic, pandemonium, all sound like pain to me. No going back, the pain of the finality of it all. So I stood there with naked soul, ashamed, alone, confused, called a whore by those whom I ran to for understanding. Mama, with tambourines and Bible raised. She shouldn't have been looking at him with those eyes, flirting with him like that, letting him kiss her like that, skipping school just to steal 1 hour. That girl had it coming. And suddenly those possibilities became chains, clenching like two hands, slowly squeezing my bowels, stampeding up my throat, melting down my face with salty tears, suffocating my heart with self-hatred and acidic disappointment. My city, my people, my love, it failed me, and all but squeezed out room for my vision, until there was no Chicago Magnificent Mile, no sunshine, no double dutch, only gray sky and dead water. I mean me, only gray sky and dead water. I became a mother. My heart swooned full of love and pride. I achieved a great miracle. I brought life forth from the dark womb of my body down a perilous and painful journey of unsurpassed agony of the mind and the body, ripping away the last of my virtue and innocent pretense. No longer able to pretend being just a girl. I was plucked, so to speak, and left wanting. But a marvelous wonder occurred the minute I heard my daughter's small voice. Self-realization, a soul was born into this world through me. And I, like God, gave life. I thought of Eve when she gave birth to Cain. With the help of God, I have created a man. In 9 months and 15 minutes, a progenitor of man. I finished the race, nourished the soul within my soul, and the small helpless body against my flowing breast. I am a life giver. I am one with God. I am Eve, mother of all mankind. I am Mary, rebirthed. I am not just woman, I am mother. This is my place. I felt great joy and wonder and waited with bated breath for the applause. But for this gift of motherhood, I was labeled, beaten, shunned, and abandoned until the castration of my life and dead impossibilities left me blind and deaf to the resounding voice of my soul. My voice, my destiny, my vision of myself obliterated until I became this thing, this statistic, this baby mama. No matter how many times I married, no matter how intelligent, gifted, creative, or loving to the world I became, just a baby-making machine full of guilt-inducing condemnation and bitter tirades against men. A man-hater, probably a lesbian, obviously a typical case of penis envy, said they. The progenitors of baby mama drama movement, our own black men. So now, do I bend over? Should I apply the grease and spread open? Slowly acquiesce to the sodomization of my destiny? Or maybe just the tip as you sing. Forfeit, throw in the towel, give up the ghost to the separation of my soul? Should I wait in dark shadows with bated breath for somebody to see my value and honor it? Or should I fight tooth and nail, scream and shout and say, fuck you, and not care if they think I'm crazy, not care if they think I'm lazy, not care if they think I'm a statistic or sex machine or sexless, depending on who is doing the looking? Stand up for us mothers when they laugh in private or boldly on stage and say, what am I gonna fuck her with? My knee? Hello? Anybody in there? Should I belittle myself and rant that it eventually gets tighter and now I'm almost like a virgin again? But that would be just nasty because I am a mother and a Christian, and I am supposed to be setting a standard, not cursing or having sex or listening to certain music or having a drink or two, just eating and being lonely because I got my freak on with the kind of men that will lie and choose not to stand by their wives. Meanwhile, the Bible says if I marry again, I'm an adulterer. So I better keep my legs closed when all I want is a big, fat black. Yeah, I said it. So like a good little church mouse, I turn down numbers and wait on my Prince Charming. Sorry, don't mean to sound bitter, but I am. Damn it. Because I had an option. Instead of Eve, I could have been Lilith. I could have said, screw you, and flew away. Left the kids, left the man to raise them, left the mess and created me. Sure, I would probably have a college degree, a nice home that I own, become a famous writer, and fulfilled all my dreams by now. I am 40. I was 40. But what about my children? The ones I know that did this are now raising grandbabies from their 2 young daughters, Lawrence, and watching their sons drop out of school as drug addicts. Will I not be held accountable for this? Will not my life be measured by the standards I bring to the world through the birth of man? And so I stand slowly, moving forward in the world of success, glamour, and achievement. Been writing my book for 10 years. But at least I stand for something more than just my own fleeting pleasure and financial gain. I am a mother. That may not mean a lot to any of you, but without us and all of our sacrifices, there is no life. You don't exist. And not just from the portal of flesh we offer, but the portal of our soul. That through our love and suffering, you shows you the way to the unique and divine truth of love. Yeah, I was born a girl on a Sunday morning, fresh like dew straight from heaven, while the first snow of winter blanketed the cold, hard steel of my sleepy northern town. Warm brown bodies, pressed fertile and sacred in whiskey-laced beds, planted like strong oak trees, swaying under the weight of oppression, like sap of a willow tree, slightly bending but never broken. There I lay, nobody special. Shoot, I could be anybody's child. Thank y'all for listening.